And as somebody who's been in this market for about 15 years now, I gotta say, today was surprising to me. Going into today, it felt like the type of day where we could have a pullback. A pullback meaning, S&P 500 down maybe 2%, 2.5%, something like that type day today, right? Maybe everybody kind of worries a little bit about the Fed. Oh, is the Fed serious about raising rates more? Like, what's going on here, right? And it felt like it should have been one of those sorts of days here today. And it was just not. It was just not. It was actually a great day. You should have been up very nicely in your portfolios here today. Dow was up 400 plus points. NASDAQ was up here today. S&P 500 up here today. Very surprising. And look what just happened here today. Look at this baby. Meta just crossed over $500,000. I've been tracking this like a hawk in terms of public count and waiting for this one to crack over $500,000. It just did it here today. This stock continues to have momentum. Now, the shocking thing in regards to Meta, okay? And this is shocking because everybody sees a stock like this and it just goes up. Seems like literally every day. Almost every day you wake up and the stock's up another 3%, 3%. The most shocking thing about Meta is what I'm about to show you here. And that is Meta, even after this insane epic move it has had, where it seems like every flip and flapjacking day it's up 3, 4, 5%, the stock is still a steal deal right now. It is still a steal deal. It's trading at, based upon the numbers analysts have for 2024, it's trading about 19 times next year's numbers. Now, keep in mind, I think next year's numbers, in terms of analysts, have gone way too conservative. I don't think they've fully priced in the amount of job cuts, obviously, Meta's done, and as well as a lot of the new business lines. So I believe that this is a very conservative number. I think $15 to $18 is pretty realistic, in my personal opinion, for next year. So this number is actually lower. But even if you were to say this number, this stock's still trading way undervalued. This is trading kind of in line with where the market's at. You think Meta's going to only grow with the market? Come on, man. This stock's going to completely, kind of decimate the market in terms of its growth rates versus the market over the next several years. So, that's the thing about this market. It doesn't matter, like, if you see a stock up 1,000,000%, 100%, 50%, it all matters about where the valuation's going over the coming 5, 10 years based upon where the profitability of the company is going to go, okay? And based upon what the company's market cap's trading at today. Bubble is just AI bubble, right? And it's very easy to write it off as that. But to be quite frank, AMD entered this year extraordinarily undervalued. When you look at what AMD has for long-term growth in front of that company, and you looked at the valuation going into this year, I mean, the stock was a steal deal. I wanted to buy AMD stock. The problem was there was a million other stocks I also wanted to buy, and that was the tough part. That's the tough part of when you got a market where there's all these deals everywhere. It's like, do I buy AMD or do I buy Tesla? Do I buy Tesla or do I buy Amazon? Do I buy Amazon or do I buy Palantir? Like, that's the tough thing when you got all these steal deals everywhere. It's like, where's the best place to put my money? And there's a lot of opportunities. But the bottom line is AMD entered this year very undervalued. It was silly. And that stock had a long way to climb this year, regardless of this whole AI excitement and those sorts of things. It was just way undervalued. When I say it's extremely important for all those massive other players that it's not just NVIDIA in this game and that AMD wins too, it's very important for them, okay? You do not want to have NVIDIA just have a monopoly in this industry. And because I'm telling you, NVIDIA is just going to be able to get stupid money forever and ever. If you can have also AMD, I don't know. Should we have any hope for Intel? I don't know, man. I don't know if we'll have any hope for Intel in terms of them playing in AI much, but you need several different players. The more players that can be successful, the more you can keep pricing somewhat down, right? And these companies can make money, but not like extraordinary margins, because at the end of the day, like, if you have the opportunity to make the craziest margins possible as a business, you're going to do that, right? Oh, it's going to grow from 30 billion to 150 billion. You should, as an investor, you should be a little skeptical, okay? But what I'll tell you is you got to look at who's the one making that statement. Is that individual an individual that is kind of a pumper type individual in terms of, like, there's some of those CEOs out there that talk a good game but never back it up with numbers? I wouldn't put Lisa Su into that team. I mean, when she usually says something, it holds weight and she comes through with the numbers. And so, if she says this market's going to go from 30 billion to 150 billion over the next 4 years, I got to take her at her word, because she's shown me nothing over time that is just like talking crazy. If she says it, it's more than likely going to become a reality. And that's something important to remember. I think AMD's pretty fairly valued right now. It looks expensive if you're just going to look at, based upon this year's numbers. It trades over a little over double what the market trades at. But let's be honest, AMD is going to grow far exceeding double what the market on average is going to grow, okay? So I think it's at a very fair valuation based upon 2024 numbers at about a 31 forward P. But, I mean, it's very possible, folks, the EPS number you're seeing there, $4.16, it's very possible that number is far too low. And they could come in with a $5 or $6 number next year. I wouldn't be surprised. AMD has crushed numbers in the past. And with all the excitement going on in the AI space, if they really execute here, don't be surprised if they absolutely blow those numbers away. So I think AMD's a pretty fair buy right now. Obviously, it's even a greater buy is $60, like it was entering the year 60 something, right? But that's not always realistic. The bottom line is you got to look at what you got in front of you. And at the end of the day, I look at this company's valuation. I think it's very fair and you got to remember, you're getting one of the best management teams in the world with one of the best companies in the world. And that's pretty magnificent, folks. So, you might not be able to be part of one of the greatest management teams in the world, but you can be part of one of the greatest private stock groups in the world, folks. So that's going to be in the description area if you want to apply to join us in there and take your investing game up to the next level. What is this new stock I'm starting to research? What is it? It is Oracle. Spending some time, immense time over this next, I started last night and I'm really going to spend a lot of time over this next week or two, just trying to see if there's something at Oracle. Forward P at 20 on that stock. They have some incredible growth in several of their business lineups. And so I'm just trying to look at Oracle and just see, is there an opportunity here? With Oracle's, I've never owned Oracle. It's not the most exciting company traditionally. But I can tell you some of those growth rates I was seeing in several business segments, they're pretty darn exciting. So Oracle, I am spending some time on right now and trying to see if there's something there. Look at a stock like Palantir, right? Stock like Palantir, now we're up 89% on the stock. It continues to perform. This is kind of like a meta stock, right? In terms of it just seems like every day you wake up, it's up another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6%, whatever, right? It's doing tremendous. But I had a very tough decision recently in regards to Palantir, and this is just kind of the first of, well, actually, I think the first gem was just kind of pointing out, like, a stock like Meta is still a steal deal. But the second gem I want to give to you guys out there in regards to this is you can't be too afraid to buy a stock when you're up on a stock. Okay, this is something that somebody like myself has always struggled with, and I know a lot of investors struggle with this. Okay, and in regards to Palantir, right? I've been buying the stock for quite some time, right? All the way back to last summer, I was buying the stock. And it's very easy for me to buy Palantir stock when it's under $10 a share, right? Just buying shares left and right. But what about when it went over $10 a share? And I had a very tough decision I made recently. And I bought another 645 shares of Palantir stock at $15.45. No, that's a massive difference between what I was paying for Palantir versus what I paid for Palantir in this recent buy back on June 6th, right? But at the end of the day, I thought about it and I said, do I believe Palantir is still undervalued from where I think this company is going over the future years? And my conclusion was, based upon the numbers I think they're going to hit, and based upon the current market cap, yes, it is undervalued, and I'm still going to make a lot of money on these shares that I bought at $15. And so I went ahead and I made that move, and I bought a bunch more shares, even though it makes my cost basis look far worse, right? Because at the end of the day, look at all the other shares I bought at Palantir. Obviously, they're at way lower prices than what I bought these most recent shares. And so the thing you've got to remember when it comes to this, and it goes back to kind of the meta example, is at the end of the day, if you're getting a great deal on a stock, it doesn't matter what you bought it at in the past. The fact that I paid $7.49, $7.35 for Palantir shares is irrelevant. All that matters is those new shares I bought, am I going to make money on those over the next few years? And I believe I am. And so I've got to take that opportunity.